What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Zoids vs. III! So the Chaotic Century tournament moves smoothly along, and now we're going up against Raven and Carl Shoebaltz and their respective Iron Kong and Zaberfang. Now, Shoebaltz's Iron Kong is pretty stock. Actually, no, it's not. He actually has a very high tier Iron Kong. I take that back. Raven's Zaberfang, however, or Saber Tiger, depending on your I should specify that actually. Zaberfang is the Americanized name. Saber Tiger is the traditional Japanese name, and all the Zoids products, like all the model kits aside from the Hasbro ones, all the direct translations, and all the games were first named as Saber Tigers. So I'm gonna say Saber Tiger if I can help it, because that's technically the correct term. And Zaberfang just kind of sounds weird with the Z, because they had to put Z in everything because of the Zoids, right? Anyway, as I said before, Zaberfangs are sort of the Empire rival to the Shield Liger, sort of in terms of size, health, capabilities, armaments, everything, and sort of a medium Zoid. But in terms of firepower, we definitely have him outmatched. The Red Horn I'm using here has the 80mm cannon that I'm using right now, which is pretty effective, as I demonstrated in the previous game up against the... I never used a Red Horn, but I did use the Dark Horn against the Seismosaurus there in that campaign. But this is pretty much a stock Red Horn. I've not done anything to this. This is what my partner typically uses, and I swap Zoids with my partner just to demonstrate the Red Horn, because I don't think I'd get a better time to use it, really. The unfortunate thing about this weapon is it really doesn't have a whole lot of ammo, but as I showed off in the previous game, you can load up these things with weapons and just cause them to be heavily weighed down. And there's actually a lot of variety with where you can put the weapons too. So I also have this 3-barrel linear launcher here that is pretty effective. It has, just in case you run out of ammo for the other thing, it's also pretty powerful and pretty accurate. It just has a different shot trajectory and all that other stuff, so pretty good. The Red Horn is not the most mobile of Zoids for its size. It's pretty big, but not too big to where it becomes inconvenient to use. So that's that. I'm going to try to use it for one more battle here, and then I'll be switching back over to the Koenig Wolf, because we'll be getting into the really hard fights here. But yeah, a competent enough Zoid for my partner to have. It has a decent amount of health. I think it has the same amount of health as the Liger Zero does, if I'm not mistaken. That's 2600, which is also the same amount that our Shadow Fox S has. I should point out the Shadow Fox S has a lot more health than the default one would. I think the default one would have 22 or 2400. So now we're up against Shoebaltz's brother and Irvine in their respective D-Bison and Lightning Sykes, which are both really good Zoids. As you know, Shoebaltz, he didn't come into it until Season 2, and by then, of course, the major war thing was over, so they could collaborate better with every character. Sort of the Empire characters became neutral at that point, so Shoebaltz was able to, regardless of his brother's previous agenda, was able to join up with the Guardian Force fighters, no problem. But the D-Bison in this game, as I said in the previous campaign, or tournament mode rather, I keep making that mistake, I should specify that, even though this game only has one campaign. As you can see right here, the D-Bison is a lot better because, like I said, homing projectiles are a lot more effective in this game than they were in the previous game. So the D-Bison's main cannon there actually has a decent chance of hitting you. Imagine that. The same with all the missiles that the D-Bison may or may not have. This is a pretty stock D-Bison. Apparently Lena's D-Bison in New Century Zero is upgraded significantly, although you wouldn't know it because in the anime she just straight up destroys the thing right in like the first battle and doesn't use it ever again. She is a complete fool with that thing and doesn't ever really get any good use out of it until, she gets the gun sniper, and even then she totally misuses the gun sniper for what it's supposed to be doing, but that's just part of Lena's character, I suppose. Alright, melee finisher, not bad. Yeah, Shoebaltz used the D-Bison to great effect actually in New Century Zero, and it was a good counter to the or a good medium between the fast Lightning Sykes and the powerful Blade Liger. Alright, now we're moving on to fight Reese and Raven in their respective Genosaur and Psycho-Genosaur, which I feel like is much better than having, Hilton Raven or Hilton Reese with actually Raven and Reese with the Psycho Genosaur and the Geno Breaker. That was actually a little bit more appropriate in the previous game. So we're switching back over to the Koenig Wolf. I still have the long range pulse rifle on there, the same weapon that they're going to be using against us. And I'm kind of surprised that they decided to have this take place in the city setting like this. I thought it would have made more sense to have it take place in the crater at night, like the battle against Raven. The previous battle against Raven did. That makes more sense to me, but we'll still deal with them just the same. I know we fought the Geno Breaker in the city like this before. Or maybe we used it in the city in the previous game. I don't remember. But yeah, despite how much I love the Genosaur, I'm starting to like it a lot more than the Geno Breaker actually after playing these games. Mainly because it's actually good in the game compared to the Geno Breaker, which is not really that good because it was mainly reliant on melee attacks and it's very sluggish. But the Genosaur was very cool in the anime. There is the next Kotobukiya HMM that I'm planning to get is the Psycho Genosaur. And I love that they made a run of it with this color scheme, even though, I mean, I'm not crazy about the color scheme. The minor aesthetic changes to the Psycho Genosaur and just the exclusivity of it, it's really cool. I really love the Psycho Genosaur, and I'm so glad they made a master model of it. But I'm not a big model builder, as you guys know, or as some of you I'm sure know, from what I've talked about the Zoids model kits in the past. Most of the ones I have are the Takara Tomy ones from way back in the day when the anime was actually airing. The high-end master models are definitely new to me. I'm not a big Gundam person that builds models, but I'd like to get more into it. So I do have the HMM Blade Liger with the attack boosters. I had to have that. And then I'm building the Lightning Sykes currently right now, which again I had to have that if you guys know me. So there's a few more coming out. Like coming out at the end of this year is the Hayate Liger from Zoids Genesis, which is really cool. And if they make one for the Koenig Wolf, oh, forget about it. It's all over. Actually, now that I say that, there hasn't really been a newly released Koenig Wolf model since the original Takara Tomy one, which I'd still like to have anyway, but it's like, once you have the Kotobukiya, you never go back, kind of. And as much as I love my Blade Liger, I've had it more than a decade now, the Kotobukiya one is really nice, I have to admit. So, we just defeated them rather easily. Alright, now moving on to adult Vanna and Fiona, the characters we're playing as, and Raven with the Blade Liger and the Geno Breaker, which I was just talking about the Geno Breaker. We only fight the Blade Liger once in this tournament, which we fought it twice in the previous tournament, once stock and once again with the attack boosters, which kind of does accurately present the changes that went through the, between the seasons, because Van had the Blade Liger by the end of the original season, and, after tragedy ensued, of course, and only ended up getting the attack boosters towards the end of Guardian Force. And actually, he didn't use them all that much. He detached them frequently, but I still feel like, by the time you're on par with the Geno Breaker, you need to have those. Attack boosters. So I was just talking about the Geno Breaker a minute ago, how it's inferior to the Genosaur because it doesn't have any good weapons, which is really a shame because the Geno Breaker in the anime could kill armies. It took armies of Zoids to take this thing down in the anime. They actually never beat it. He basically went up against the Death Soarer, or tried to go up against the Death Soarer to buy Van some time, and that's how he ended up taking a lot of damage. He was never honestly defeated. The thing just flies away. It's obscenely powerful in the anime. Not quite to the point that the Berserk Fury was, respectively, in New Century Zero, but obviously it's understandable, the comparison there. That would be an interesting fight, in context of the anime at least. So the Blade Liger, remarkably weak there. I'm not sure what was going on with that, but he just did not have a lot of health. It looked like he only had like 2,200 health or something like that. Not nearly enough. Got an S rank on that one, that's pretty good. Alright, so now we're moving on to the final battles. This is Terror Mode now. Like, this is where all good runs must come to an end. With Moonbay, and the Ultrasaurus. She is terrifying. I am actually going to be pulling out all the stops for this one. I'm going to be changing back over to the dual sniper rifle for this fight. And I'm going to be, just so I can get the maximum damage possible, I'm going to be putting Irvine on the Shadow Fox. So we can have 2 dual sniper rifles coming at this guy. Now actually, the Shadow Fox is has the same amount of health as the Red Horn, but it might be a little bit more frail. But I need to have someone else, someone powerful to distract the Ultrasaurus here. Alright, let's do this. This is actually the 6th take doing this fight. I have died 6 times doing this, recording it just today. My test run, I must have died almost 20 times fighting this thing because it is so obscenely broken in this version of the game compared to in Battle Legends or Versus 2. It's the same exact fight, but because of the missiles, you have to do all these jumps left to right to avoid being hit by all of them, because if all of them hit you in a row, you'll get staggered. And then the Ultrasaurus can use this giant melee stomp there to do extreme amounts of damage to you. You can take out like 80-90% of your health with one hit from that, as well as the big cannons on the front, which, again, is rightfully so, because this is essentially the equivalent of a, a tugboat going up against a battleship here, because this thing is literally a battleship of a Zoid. It has an aircraft carrier deck, and it has those cannons there that, like I said, can almost one-shot me. Launched the Blade Liger out of those cannons at the Death Soar at the end of the anime. So, yeah, this thing is scaled down significantly for this game, but this is a hardcore fight trying to dodge these missiles. I mean, there's really no way to manipulate this fight. You just have to make hard reads and look for when those missiles are coming up behind you and dodge left to right. And you're going to die. This thing will kill you. It's just a question of when, and if you can deal enough damage to it before it kills you inevitably with the missiles. Ooh, that was close. See, that's what I'm talking about. You gotta look carefully at your back to see when they come up, and you gotta make sure that your strafing runs here are working out just fine. But the real dick thing that this thing can do is it has cannons on its neck there that shoot out at the side. There's one right there that can really. Oh man. Oh, this could be it for me. I could have to do another. Any one of these missiles now could kill me. I've got to destroy this thing. Shadow Fox is down. It's got 200 health. One more hit. Come on. Any one of these missiles could kill me. That could have been it right there. That missile. All right. Oh, I can't believe we beat that. Oh, that is so much harder than I made it look. Yes. Whew, man. That's the hardest thing I've done in this whole series, believe me. Oh, man. You are a winner! You're damn right I'm the winner. Yeah, if you are trying to do your strafing runs against him and he gets that, or she rather, gets those cannons on the side to hit you, you're done. I mean, it's over. I mean, really, if you get hit by the big main cannons or the melee stomp, you're pretty much done. You need a lot of health to survive that. So I needed to use the Koenig Wolf because it has 3,100 health, which is a hell of a lot. I'm actually going to buy. I have a ton of money now, and I don't know what to buy because I'm looking for viewer requests. If you guys want to suggest some Zoids for the 3rd tournament, the Battle Story tournament, then go ahead and suggest them now. I'll be pretty much willing to buy anything, and then I will go and splurge and go through a couple of tournaments to accumulate enough credits to buy all the unlock Zoids, all the really good ones, all the top tier Zoids that are... Huh. I can actually put it in that spot there. That's pretty cool. I don't know why I'd want to do that. It actually looks really awkward in this position here. I bought a beam launcher for the Red Horn, if you guys couldn't tell. Man, this thing is really overkill. It's got a giant railgun on it now. But, I mean, I want to see how it looks here. It's slightly different, but it gets away that weapon for me. That's not good. Yeah, that's basically all I wanted to do, is just load this thing up with weapons. I don't want any missiles on it, but that's fine for now. I just wanted the beam launcher on there, and we're good to go. This thing even looks more ridiculous with the beam gatling units and all the other stuff on there. Not like Harry's Darkhorn. Anyway, final battle here is against Gunther Brosen and the Death Soar, as you expected for Chaotic Sentry. This fight is hard. It's very hard, just like the previous fight was, and for the same reasons. But fortunately, he does not have nearly as many missiles, and the close quarters here allow us to dodge them. The only thing I don't want to do is get hit by that charged particle beam. I say that, and then I get knocked back by the missiles, just like I said I wouldn't do. But, yeah, like I said, if too many of them hit you back-to-back, you can get staggered. The real dick thing that the Death Soarer does, you really got to be careful, is it has some very awkwardly, unfortunately placed cannons in its abdomen there that are going to be firing at us, and they can deal a lot of damage. They're very accurate, and if I'm not strafing fast enough, they're going to catch up with me. So you may see me just using the boosters and sprinting away from this thing to try to avoid them. That's basically all I'm doing. I can actually kind of stay in place if it's using the cannon on its back, or if it's using the charged particle beam. As long as I'm on the side of it, I can keep hitting it. But if you look at its health compared to mine, I'm already almost halfway done. You see, there's those cannons. I was able to sidestep them there. But this right here, this I've got to start using the boost because... but luckily, if he changes directions, I can come to a sudden stop with that power slide maneuver and get some good damage in on him. Yeah, this fight is nothing compared to the Ultrasaurus fight. And I beat the Ultrasaurus quite a few times in Battle Legends. And I swear to you, they've just made it harder in this one. The missiles are too hard to dodge. Which, again, I'm okay with because the missiles were damn nearly useless in Battle Legends. So, like I said, the minor tweaks they've made to this game definitely have made it better overall. I really can't complain. Because these bosses deserve to be hard. These things are supposed to be, you know, hundreds of feet tall and take armies of Zoids to kill. And again, the scale, the Death Soarer is much, much, much bigger. It would only come up to this thing's foot, maybe, the Koenig Wolf would, if this was the anime scale, the correct scale. But this is probably the model kit scale. Like, if you were to put the model of the Koenig Wolf and the Death Soarer next to each other, this is probably where they would stack up to each other. And the Death Soarer is actually one of the oldest Zoids. Like, the Death Soarer existed in the 1982 original Zoid story, but I'm pretty sure the Koenig Wolf did not. Well, it might have. I'll have to look it up. B rank, that's not too bad. Okay. Well, that was certainly challenging. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see for the next video, guys. I'm going to be waiting to purchase any new Zoids until I get some feedback, unless I will probably buy one or two, because there will be some things unlocked from this that I want to buy. I already showed them on screen what unlocks from this. But I do want to get a Storm Sorter and a Shield Logger Mark II, but if you guys have anything else you want to see, let me know. Some lower tier Zoids, maybe like a gun sniper or something I don't typically show off, but something cool that would be fun to demonstrate, and me finding a way to utilize it and challenging myself for a change. So just let me know what you guys want to see.